Hello and welcome to my office, which can be a bit funny. Yes, it is a yoga mat, but it's very apt actually for this conversation today. So, as a prior medical scientist, of which I think most of you are aware, in particular a diagnostic scientist, so very much related to heart attacks and blood clots. So, often this resulted from lifestyle choices. And one lifestyle choice is sitting down a lot. So chairs I just find awful. And I remember when I was in the lab, we had people going around with notepads and they get paid an awful lot of money to sell us very expensive chairs, because in that way our bosses were doing their best by us and our safety and looking after us. But it was ridiculous. They spent all this money on chairs that didn't make us feel any more comfortable. If you are sat down for a long period of time, no matter what position you're in, you're going to get sore. We're not designed to stay still. It is terrible. It's absolutely terrible for us. We're designed to move. So if you're in a similar situation and this is happening within your workplace, say, well, do you know what? I would like different options for my workplace. I would like a seated place for sometimes when I want to sit down, but I would also like a standing desk as well, because my body is designed to move, and that's the only way that I'm not going to end up with work-related back problems and knee problems and all of these things that come along with working sat down, hunched over in a chair. So we're going to talk a little bit about blue zones. I have always been very interested in blue zones as a scientist. However, there has been a new Netflix documentary released, and it has brought about this love for the blue zones again. It's very good. Go and watch it. It's absolutely brilliant. And it covers all of those things that we kind of know already, but it's very important to remember. So, people within the blue zones, they typically live up to 100, over 100, and well. They're not just sitting down in a chair and being miserable until that age, which happens often here. They are living very well. They are healthy. So what is the difference when it comes to the blue zones? So the blue zones are situated over lots of different places. It's not all clustered together, and they live very different lifestyles. However, there are some patterns that run across all, which is something that we should concern ourselves with. So they tend not to have issues with weight management. They tend not to have issues with mobility and tension and soreness for the most part, because they're doing all of the things that looks after their body. So imagine you had a very expensive car. Would you put the wrong fuel in it all of the time? Not really, but that's what we tend to do here. And would you just leave it sitting, not moving all of the time? No, because it's not very good for the car. The car is designed to move. We are designed to move. So we need to apply all of these things. However, it's not our fault that we are here. We are very much in a system in Western countries, here in the UK. It is very obvious that the system is designed for convenience. It is promoted that we move less. So there's lots of sit-down jobs that we can't get away from. We need money to survive, and most jobs are sit-down jobs, so they're not very good for us. When you go to the shops, when you go to the cinema, when you go to any big building, you're met with escalators, you're met with lifts, which is a fantastic option for those who need it. But the majority of people do not need escalators. We need the stairs. We're designed to move. We need to be walking up the stairs. If we want to be able to walk upstairs with ease, we need to do that action more than once. So use the stairs. Again, it's easier to jump in the car than it is to use a bike or walk or utilise public transport, because our transport systems aren't great. They're not brilliant. However, if you look at Singapore, their transport systems are fantastic. The majority of them use transport systems, bikes. They walk because the land has been designed to encourage that. They also encourage exercise and movement, and this allows them to age very well, healthily, and live long lives. Nutrition is also a big part as well of why they live so long. So they typically eat from the land. If you are from a blue zone, you eat from the land, and if you eat anything that is processed, and I say that in quotation marks, is because they are not surrounded by the ultra processed food that we eat. the majority of our diets now, unfortunately, is ultra processed foods. Whereas if they eat something that is processed, they process it themselves. So like they're making bread and they're putting effort into that. And if you put effort into something like that, and you know, if you've baked before, you know how difficult it is, or not difficult, time consuming, and it takes effort, then you're not just going to eat it all in one sitting. You're not going to eat it really quickly. You're going to savor it and consume it at a reasonable pace. Whereas when we buy it off the shelves and it's full of all of the ingredients it shouldn't be, I'm going to put this in right now. Bread should have a maximum of 3 ingredients. So have a look at the ingredient list. And if it's got more than 3, it's not good. It's not good for you. Also, that also brings me to, we have lots of personal trainers as well, and I'm not here to slate personal trainers, but there's lots of online personal trainers, and I'll have talks with my studio girls every day about this, and we have jokes about someone, I'm not going to say his actual name because I might get into trouble, so let's just say 2 slices of bread and filling, boy. Okay, so if you know what that is that I have made, and then it's followed by boy, this person promotes eating sandwiches every single day. And that's fine. You can eat a sandwich. Of course you can eat a sandwich. And the reason behind that is typically for likes and followers, but he's forgetting to also give vital information. Yes, you can eat that and still lose weight, which is very much his thing. And lots of personal trainers out there, I see that. You can eat donuts every day and lose weight. You can eat this every day and lose weight. That is true, but you're going to have future weight management problems because you're not looking after your protein intake, and you're also crowding out your diet with that high energy food, leaving no space for vitamins, soluble fiber, protein. That's what is not told when it comes to these people promoting these things for their own follow base or likes or any of that kind of thing. So be very wary of people like that, because they're giving you something to get lots of likes in return. It's not, they don't care. They don't care about your health. Maybe that's unfair to say, but they're not giving you all of the information. So you're not going to feel good. Think about yourself as that expensive car. Provide yourself with the stuff that makes you feel really, really good. And yeah, have that stuff sometimes, but we don't want to crowd out our diet with things that have very little nutritional value. So to cut this story short, sorry, I think we are about 7 minutes in. I do apologise. To cut this story short, we want to look after ourselves like people in the blue zones. So we want to be moving. We want to take the option to move. We don't want to be sitting down for the most part. They utilise community. They spend time with community, which is good for their mental and physical health. And when you prioritise community, you don't go into your house and sit and switch the telly on to relax. You go and meet people and you participate in activity. And this is really important. So participate in activity. Fill yourself full of that really good food that you know is good for you. Whether you're veggie or vegan, think about protein. Within the blue zones, they eat a lot of protein, typically from grains and beans, and they have some meat and some fish. Here it's a little bit trickier, because if you're eating lots of processed food, the grains and the beans have higher energy or higher caloric content, which we need to be more aware of, because we also have all of these processed foods that we want to eat on this side. This is my processed foods. All of these processed foods on this side. And if we are consuming all of that as well, which is high energy food, then the natural high energy food can be a little bit trickier. Whereas they're not consuming all of that ultra processed high energy food. Therefore, they have the space for the higher energy natural foods. So most of their protein comes from the beans and the legumes and the grains. So keep that in mind. If you are veggie or vegan and you want to take most of your protein from your veggies, your grains, and all of this kind of stuff, which we should all be doing for the most part, we should all be getting most of our protein from that, then we need to cut out a bit of the processed foods as well. So move, fill yourself full of really good stuff. Be kind to yourself, put a big smile on your face. Don't chase goals too quickly. Enjoy the process and enjoy life, and that is the point. These people love life, love community, love food, love moving, and that is the point. So go and love all of that stuff. And and get in touch if you want any more information on all of this wonderful stuff. See you next time.